Hi, you're listening to Book Chat with author Vivian E. Moore.
Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode. We really appreciate you joining us. This podcast really shows us how we can all learn, live, and thrive off of each other. By sharing our knowledge through our conversations, we will impart some knowledge whilst learning ourselves how to progress even further. Here is your host.
Hello and welcome to Book Chat, where authors and creatives and book lovers unite. I am your host, author Vivian E. Moore, and I hope that everyone is having a great day, and I hope that you're having a better weekend. And also, I want to wish all of the mothers happy Mother's Day. I know I'm a day early, but the show doesn't broadcast on Sunday, so I want to make sure I get that out. All right, so let's get straight to today's show, shall we? Today we're going to dive into a topic that every author needs to hear about, okay? So the topic today is Picture This, and the title is How to Snag Readers with Effective Promotions and Book Covers, okay? Because we know that readers with effective promotions, they hold a power over readers. And also if you have the perfect book cover as well. Okay, because they say a picture is worth 1,000 words. But for authors, the right picture, the right cover, combined with smart promotion strategies can be worth 1,000 readers. Did you hear that? All right, so let's break it down. So first up, first impressions matter. You know, we've talked about that on many different episodes about those first impressions because they do matter. Because your book cover is often the very first thing a potential reader sees, right? They see that cover before they read your blurb, they click on a sample, or even notice your name. You know, because it speaks for your book before your words ever do, okay? And a powerful genre-appropriate design, you know, it tells the reader, hey, this book is exactly what you're looking for, okay? So we're focusing on those first impressions, right? And the book cover, because that is the first thing that the reader see. You know, I've talked with people about why they would buy a specific type of book without knowing the genre or, you know, everything that's involved before they even read the inside and the back of the book. What they said was that I look at the cover, and if I like the cover, then that makes me think that I will like the book. Okay, so that's saying a lot, right? If you have those readers that look at the book cover first before they read anything. And, you know, that is not so unique, really, because a lot of people are like that. A lot of readers are like that. They look at the book covers first because it either draws them in or it puts them off. So if it draws them in, then it's like, okay, so I like the cover. So that means that what's inside of that cover is going to be, you know, even more exciting. So it starts there. All right. So now let's talk about that promoting with a purpose. Okay. So effective promotion, you know, it isn't just about shouting, buy my book, okay? Because that usually just, you know, it just goes into the void because nobody's listening, all right? Because no one wants to hear that, buy my book, okay? You gotta come with a promotion that's way better than that, okay? Because it's about showing up in all of the right spaces with the right message. Okay. So let's think about this. So if we target those Facebook ads and then we do those strategic newsletter swaps, and also what grabs a reader's attention is those limited time price drops. Okay. Cause they love that. You know, sometimes free is good. And those price drops are sometimes even better for a reader, because sometimes if the book is free, they think, oh, okay, well, they're just trying to give this book away because, it's probably not any good. But if you lower the price on it, then that makes them think that they're actually getting a deal, and that, the book is selling so well that they can lower the price on it to bring in more readers. Okay, but don't sleep on those free books, because Kindle Unlimited, Amazon has come up with one of the best promotion tools ever, and that's Kindle Unlimited for authors, because it can help them to draw attention to their books. And, and the readers too, they can read more of those books for free. But the best part of that is that it's a win-win situation for the author and for the reader, because, even when the reader is not purchasing the book, they're reading it on Kindle Unlimited, the author is still getting paid because the reader is reading the book. Okay, that's a win-win situation, because we want to support our authors in any way that we can, because we do understand that not everybody has an extra $5, $10, $15, $20, especially now. But if they can get that book for free, then that helps a lot. Okay, that helps their dollar to go farther than it normally would. Okay. So anyway, another thing is those guest appearances on, you guessed it, podcasts like this one. All right. So when you promote with intention, readers don't just see your book, they remember it. Okay, because that's what you want them to do. They may be in a crowded bookstore with a lot of other books that are listed under the same genre. But you not only want your book to stand out, you want them to not to forget about it. That way, when they get finished looking at all of the other books, they will come back to yours, because that book left a first impression on them. It stayed in their memory. And so it makes them want to buy that book because, well, I like this book from the start. It sort of captured my attention. So I know it has to be good because, something is telling me that I need to buy this book, because the book cover, it says so much without saying one word. Okay. And that's what you want to do. All right. So the next thing is let's talk about something that gets overlooked. And that is visual consistency. Now, we talked about being consistent, persistently consistent, right? We've already talked about that. And your social media graphics, your email headers, and even your Amazon author page, they should all feel connected. Okay. They can click on one and it will instantly take them to the next. And that's what you want to do, because that looks professional to the readers. Okay. That makes them think, okay, this has been well thought out. They've really planned this well. And, not only can I can look at their social media graphics, because that also pertains to their books. I can also look at the email headers that they've been sending out, and also their Amazon author page. Okay. That is how you make everything feel connected, and how you connect everything. Okay. Because a consistent visual brand, it helps readers to trust you. Okay. And trust, that turns into clicks, downloads, and sales for the authors. Okay. So again, it's a win-win situation. When you trust us, then, that means so much to authors, to know that those readers trust them, that they're going to their website, that they're going to their social media pages, they're looking at the videos that, that the authors have uploaded. They're looking at all of these things that drive them, to their book pages and their social media and all of these things. It makes the reader realize that, okay, this is really an author that is out there, that is working hard to promote their work, not just trying to get book sales, but just trying to bring more readers into the family. Okay, because that's what it's all about. Okay, so picture this. All right, so your book on the screen or shelf that grabs that attention instantly, backed by a smart, well-planned promotion strategy. That's how you get from just published to well read. Okay. Now this is for my authors. Okay. I mean, that's what today's show is about. Picture this. If you can see it, I often equate it to that movie by, what is his name? Oh, I knew that was anyway, A Field of Dreams. Kevin Costner. Okay, it came back to me. If you build it, they will come. Okay, so this applies to books. If you write it, they will come. All right, so just remember that. All right, so authors, if you're ready to make your book shine brighter in a crowded market, remember that a stunning book cover, it opens the door. And all of that strategic promotion, it invites those readers in. That's what we want to do. We want to make those readers feel as though they're coming into a safe space, okay? That we're not trying to do the bait and switch. We're not trying to do any of that. We want to leave an impression on them that what they see on the outside is going to lead to something that is so great on the inside, because we want them to not only read this book, but to tell people about it, and share it and talk about it, as much as you can, because, just like everyone else, authors need to be uplifted as well. We need to be encouraged as well. It doesn't matter how many books you write. You may write one book that's great, but, and then you write another book and it's not so great. It sort of leaves you in the dumps. It sort of makes you feel like that, that you didn't hit that target, that all of those boxes were not checked for those readers. So, they sort of, just put your book on the back burner and move on to something else. And we never want to do that. We always want to keep our loyal readers. Okay. So that means that, you just can't come out with a great book cover the first time or a great story the first time. You have to keep producing, and making each one better than the last one. Okay. Because that helps you to grow as a writer, as an author. And, and I'm talking to specifically independent authors, okay? Because I know that if you are an author that, you have a contract with a publishing company, then that doesn't necessarily leave you with much room to suggestions and things of that nature, because they're pretty much handling everything, because basically you're working for them. Okay, you're producing the material, but they're backing everything that has to do with that book. But if you're an independent author, then this show is definitely for you. Of all the things that you need to do to get your book out there, and not just to get it out there, but to get it noticed and to keep those readers coming back. Okay, because that is so important. It shows your work ethic, first of all, as a writer. It shows that you're putting everything into what you're doing, and you're not trying to fool anybody, but what you want to do is to make your readers happy, keep them coming back over and over and over again, and also helping you to promote your book. And how they do that is by telling other readers. They go out on social media, they're reposting your videos, your anything that you're putting out there. They are helping to promote you by doing all of these things. Okay, so just keep doing what you're doing, and you may not be there yet, but you will get there one day. So just to inspire you just a little bit more. That's what this show is about, inspiring. So thanks for listening to Book Chat. And if you have enjoyed today's episode, make sure to subscribe and to leave a review and to share it with all of your fellow writers, readers, whoever it may be. Okay. So until the next time, keep writing, keep dreaming, and keep turning pages. All right. So that concludes today's show. I hope that you found something that was helpful. And as I always say, remember to tell those who you care about the most how you feel about them today, because tomorrow is not promised, and today may be the only chance you get to say it. So on that note, I love you. I hope you love me back. Until the next time you hear my voice, God bless you and goodbye.
Loved what you've heard on this week's episode? Well, the answer is simple. It would mean the world to us if you could head over to iTunes and leave us a 5-star review and feedback. Spreading the word really is the best way to grow our podcast and achieve even greater things. Thank you.